national sports editor of the Daily Hive and its Offside Sports Vertical. Rob, the hockey guy on the X platform. How are you?
Doing great, guys. We're in the... are these the dog days of summer, or are these the...
No.
I don't know what it is. I don't know what it is.
No. We are a month away from the dog days of summer here, Rob.
Well, it's the quietest sports days of the year, right? There's no...
Well, that's what they say. I mean, there's no game schedule.
We had MLS last night. We had the Whitecaps last night, but nothing...
You're damn right we did.
We had the
No.
We
love mid-July.
I chewed on the schedule so much it was down to little bits. It was just...
you know what, guys?
We're on day 2 of dissecting the schedule, Rob. What are you talking about? Plenty to talk about.
We can talk about Canucks 365 days of the year, and I'm here for it. So
we always talk
proper hockey market.
We always talk fan perspective with you, and 2 8-game homestands. We were talking about what fans think of that. 2 8-game. One of them, Rob, that it is no extended breaks in it. It is day on, day off.
Literally every second night.
For 8 games.
Presence is required at Rogers Arena.
You tell me, as a guy who once had at least a piece of a season's ticket, what do you make of that?
That's why he had a piece, not the full thing.
If you have full season tickets, you're devoting the next 2.5 weeks of your life to the Canucks.
Yeah, I know. I mean, I think it's a catch-22 for the team, right? Because I think this is a way where you can reduce your travel during a season, so that's good because you kind of get your road trips done in chunks and
one fell swoop,
and save it in that way. But I do think there's the problem for the team is we've seen it in the past is you get a little stale, you get a little comfortable at home, and you can see teams kind of have momentum go in the wrong direction. And then reporters are asking players questions like, "Is it just going to be good to get on the road?" After this. So I'm worried about that. But from a fan perspective, I think if you're a season ticket member, man, you're there every single night. I do wonder if we see, I think we've seen in the past if you have a long homestand and maybe there's a couple of dog opponents on a Tuesday towards the middle or end of that homestand. So it might be a little bit harder to draw fans into Rogers Arena at that time. Even if you have a quarter season pack, I think what you want if you have like a quarter season pack is have all of your games nicely spaced out throughout the season. And when you have these giant homestands, you end up having to bunch them up. You might have 2 games in 1 week and then go a month and a half or nearly 7 weeks without seeing another game. So it's not necessarily ideal. Of course, I'm envisioning the worst case scenario, which we saw last season when they're terrible at home and they go on a losing streak. Conversely, it'd be nice if one of these years if they get on a real roll and really get some momentum and Rogers Arena is a fun barn to be in by the end of that 8-game homestand.
Incidentally, that homestand we talked about, only 1 dog on that homestand. They're really good games, 7 of the 8, and just 1 game against the Ducks. Who knows? They might be entertaining.
They had 2 6-gamers last year, and they went 5-6-1 in those.
Yeah, not electric.
In those homestands. More on schedule and games at Rogers Arena, Rob, because I noticed this tweet from the Canucks. They're advertising 3-game 4-packs, and we talked about with you last year they were getting rid of the quarter season tickets, but you have done some reporting on this, sir. So why don't you let us know what you've learned about mini packs, if we can use that as a catch-all term.
Yeah, so they're 3-game packs. So they have 4 options. It raised my eyebrow because I was like, wait, is this like a new thing? Because I don't ever recall that in the past. Certainly not like when they announced the schedule advertising these packs. So that kind of caught me by surprise. So I asked the Canucks, like, is this a new thing? Is this replacing the quarter season ticket packs, which of course we learned a few months ago, those are being phased out. If you have a quarter season ticket pack currently, you'll be able to keep your pack, but they're not offering new quarter packs to any season ticket holders. They do have on their website right now, though, they have, of course, full season memberships, half season, and then they have what they're calling partial plan 6 to 10 games. Those still are not being offered yet. Apparently, those are going to be offered after they see who signs up for all of these other membership options. So those will, I think the idea is they're going to look at, this is me reading into it, they're going to look at what games have not been sold and then start piecing together 6 to 10 game packs that you can then buy after the fact.
Yeah. Mike, I sent you, let's bring this up, these 3 game packs that they're selling. First one is Edmonton, Colorado, Calgary. So, I'll give them credit. There's a couple, McDavid and McKinnon. Like, you can buy that pack and see McDavid and McKinnon. Then the next one is it's the original 6, if you will. It's the Rangers, it's the Blackhawks, and it's the Bruins. So it's the JT Miller return game, and it's Connor Bedard. So I can see how that would be appealing to certain fans. Winnipeg, Utah, Dallas. I'm not sure if there's a theme there. And then Columbus, the Islanders, and the Hurricanes.
So just to be clear,
that's Columbus on a Saturday, not a Tuesday
Just
night.
to be clear, those are different prices. You're not paying the same for Edmonton, Colorado, Calgary as you are for CBJ, New York, and Carolina. It's $100 difference in totality.
I've got $65 difference.
Well, it depends maybe on the price, but I'm talking about the easiest way to get in. It's $450 for the Pack A, the Edmonton, Colorado, Calgary. It's $455 for the New York, Chicago, Boston one. But the cheap one, the not so great one, is $356 starting. So it's $100 difference to get in the door.
Mike, do we have that? Can we bring that up? Just because I'd like to show people. There it is. Yeah. So there are the packs for those of you watching on YouTube or in a visual medium. There are the packs, including the dates. And the other thing we should note there is, like, some of those packs, like the first pack is over by mid-November.
It's done.
Yeah.
You might want to
whereas
get 2.
others are a little bit more spaced out, and you get games a little more separated throughout the season.
Yeah.
Go ahead, Rob.
Yeah, no, I looked at the prices. You can actually get a little bit cheaper, provided you're willing to sit in the no alcohol section. So if you're good with that, the cheapest price is for that last pack, which is $261. Otherwise, they're all 320 from A, B, C, and D, 326, 331, 317, and 261. So more or less, 100. They're still kind of running about $100 ish per game on most of those first 3 packs, anyways. I was interested to kind of see this because, of course, we know they jacked up the ticket prices for season ticket members. People were pretty unhappy, especially after a terrible season and having that happen 2 years in a row. People were pretty upset. So I was interested to know, this a little bit of a clue as to, what prices are going to be like coming up. And of course, we're going to find out, the single game prices when they go on sale on August 7th. We'll be finding that out.
To be clear, the no alcohol section, they don't breathalyze, so you could theoretically at the intermission go and pound a beer, right, and then go back to your seats as long as you're not holding it. Yeah. There you go.
Mm-hmm. I've sat in that section before. The ushers are on it. Like, if you try to, don't try to
It's their only job. They had one job.
Do not try to sneak a beer into that section. Like, they always have the veteran ushers are there, and they take a little
guff.
They take a little walk up and down the aisle, and but you can pound it in the intermission for sure.
Yes.
I love it.
Says pardon. Yeah, Old Eagle Eyes.
You're talking to a guy that once snuck in a Mickey of vodka in a loaf of sourdough in the Arts County Fair at UBC. So, Never say it can't be done, Rob. I've done it.
And not even an engineering major.
No.
English lit guy with the Mickey of vodka in the sourdough. That's pretty ingenious, actually.
I'm sure they were a little bit curious why I was taking an entire loaf of sourdough.
sour bread.
It was a long concert.
Yeah. Get hungry. Make a sandwich. Hey, Rob, we were talking about earlier in the show, this new CBA with the modifications on contract term length and signing bonus. That's pretty appealing for the Vancouver Canucks and trying to get Quinn Hughes re-signed, huh?
Seems like it, yeah. I mean, this is all with the caveat that, as Jim Rutherford said, like, it might not come down to money. So if it doesn't come down to money, I don't know what will save it. Like, if he just wants to go to New Jersey, I don't know what you do. But that's he's going to have to leave even more money on the table. He's not going to get the 8-year deal from Vancouver. Of course, that goes for all players. If you're going to leave as a free agent, you don't get that. But now you don't even get the 7-year deal with a new team. So he could now sign for 8 seasons, make a boatload of money in Vancouver. I'm sure they'll pretty well let him write the check. Or you get a 6-year deal if you go to New Jersey, if you go elsewhere. So I do think it presents an interesting wrinkle. I think at the very least, it gives an earlier pressure point in negotiations where, for Hughes in some way, it's like, okay, well, what's the rush and actually going to sign a deal? Well, now it's September, mid-September, you're going to want to have that deal done if you want the 8 years. If that's important to you, maybe we get an answer sooner than later, but we might get him. I think the big worry is we get a Matthew Tkachuk situation where he says, I'm not willing to sign more than or I'm not willing to re-sign at all, right? And if he's not willing to re-sign at all, then you have to trade him.
It does motivate New Jersey, perhaps, though, right? It does kick them in the pants a little bit, whereas they could have just said, we're going to wait until free agency when we can get them for free. It might motivate them to make an offer to the Vancouver Canucks rather, instead. Not only so they have them for the full 8 years, but knowing that the Vancouver Canucks could be negotiating with them as well.
100%. I mean, I think if you're New Jersey, like, you don't want to leave it up to chance either, right? Like, okay, Quinn wants to play with his brothers. What if they have a magical season in Vancouver and he changes his mind, right? And he goes, well, you know what? Maybe I'll play with.
Or he just does the calculus.
I play with Jack at the Olympics and that scratched that itch and I'm fine. So there's, I don't think you want to leave too much up to chance if you're New Jersey. But yeah, guys, I don't know. I don't really have a great read on this at all. I mean, some people just think he's definitely gone. I don't know that he's definitely gone. I think a lot depends on next season, of course, but I also think, like, he's going to want to see an outlook. Like, he's going to want to. I think it's not just important that they get results next season. I think it's also important that, Tom Wielander and D. Petey and Jonathan Lear-Karamaki, show really positive signs. Show signs that, okay, there is a future here. We've got, we're building something that could be pretty good in Vancouver. If I re-sign here, I'll have a chance to win a Stanley Cup.
Your take on the Shelovs deal that went down this week?
Yeah. Some people were not too happy on social media, I saw. I think that was to be expected. I think the trade result was to be expected, though. I don't think that, if you were paying attention to what the goalie market was, if you're paying attention to, I mean, Artur Shelov's career, I think his value, I think, was probably inflated amongst some Canucks fans because he obviously took Abbotsford to the Calder Cup and won it and was outstanding in that run. But I think the other part of this is, the part that I think is inflated is his time with the Canucks in the playoffs in 2024. I think some people view that as like this Herculean effort where he was like a star in the playoffs. he had some really nice moments, and he was totally unflappable. Like, he did not look like he was nervous. The moment never got too big for him. All of those things. But Evan Bouchard, he snuck a lot of point shots in on Shelov's in that series against the Oilers, and that was a real problem. Last season, where he was just totally unplayable. It was really a bit of a roller coaster last season, where he starts the year as the opening night starting goalie, and within a couple months he's unplayable. So it's a complicated situation. I don't think the Canucks are going to get burned by this, but they could. Like, he might turn into a starting goalie in the NHL. I think that's definitely possible. But, for people that wanted to keep him, like, what was your solution? Because you could go with Demko and Shelovs. Now you're riding Demko, and if he gets hurt, now you're all on Shelovs. That makes me nervous. Did you want to go Lankin and Shelovs? I mean, they tried that last year. Is Lankinen a bona fide number one? I could see that, but what are you going to get for Demko in a trade? So I think
fair.
They were
it was catch-22.
I think they were in a tough spot where they wanted to keep Demko. He's got the highest ceiling of all those guys. If he stays healthy, he's going to be a top 5, top 10 goalie in the NHL. But I don't think you could run in to next season with Demko with his injury history and not have more of a sure thing behind him. And that's why I think that makes sense with Kevin Lankinen.
Lastly, Rob, our Whistler Golf Club poll question here today. We're asking, after Thomas Drance reports he believes the Canucks intend to keep Tom Wielander on the opening night roster. Who do you think is going to play more games? Who do you think is going to have a bigger impact on next season, Victor Mancini or Tom Wielander?
I mean, if the Canucks are leading Wielander, or maybe Wielander, you'd think that it would be Mancini, just by virtue of being older, having more pro experience. It would seem to be a rushing Wielander now into the NHL. I think unless he just knocks your socks off in preseason and in training camp, I think you want to start Wielander, start him in Abbotsford, let him dominate Abbotsford, let him dominate the AHL for a month or two, and then bring him up. I don't think that you're in a situation where you really need to play that card yet. So for me, it would. I was expecting Mancini, but that's going to be. I mean, that's probably going to be the most interesting training camp battle. Is like, who gets that third pair spot next to Derek Forbort.
Are you surprised they went and doubled down on the veterans
hold on.
in Forbort?
Next to Derek Forbort.
Well, that's the thing. You got Forbort and Joseph as veterans. Do you think they needed both of those guys?
You've got Elias Pettersson, too. I mean, Hughes and Marcus Pettersson are playing your first two pairs left side, no? What are you doing to Elias Pettersson, Rob Williams? Are you jettisoning him in a trade?
Well, both Pettersson and Forbort have played on the right side, so you can construct that third pair however you want.
You don't think Adam Foote's going to fall in love with the big stay-at-home D-man Derek Forbort on the back end there? I think
the surprising dangles. Every once in a while, the dangles of Forbort reveal themselves too.
Also,
Derek
one of your
Dangles.
a key penalty killer. I think put it this way. I think their bias heading into the season is going to be to have Forbort on that third pair. I think it'll be good news for the Canucks if they end up with two young guys on that third pair and they can hold it down, and that pushes Forbort into the press box. But that's fully what I expect. We did see DPD play his offside last year, so I think he could do that again. I think that is an option for them. But yeah, I think that's going to be a really interesting battle. Fair comment with Joseph in there as well. They got a lot of guys kind of battling for that third pair spot.
They do, and I think you're right. And I think that I mentioned yesterday on the show, through preseason this year, my eyes will be fixated on that defense core and how it's going to shake out, because there's a lot of great options there for the Canucks. Awesome stuff, Rob. Know you're away next week, so thank you for this. Enjoy your vacay. We'll catch up either later in July or early August.
Good stuff. Thanks, guys.